So, according to the assignment, I said there are three inputs. This is a new React project. There are three inputs. I think I love using the self-closing tag instead. We have placeholder for name. We have one for department and one for school. Then we have a button. Add student. So I said when you click on this button, you want to get what we have in. Oh, let's start the project. Let's start it. So when you click on this button, you want to get the values here, the name, the department, the school. Then you display it on the screen in a table. You have a table and you display it on the screen. So let's first find ways to get the values here. So we come here and say on click. So let's get a function called add students. So how do we get these three inputs? Based on what we learned in our previous classes, we can say change. Then we can have three states, one for name, one for department, and one for school. So that's name, set name equals to use that name. Do the same for departments and school. That's department. So department. Use that. Then for school. Okay. So on change now, we can now say when you change this as a type here, get whatever is inside this input and set it as a name. So set name, then that targets that value. So we do the same for department and school. But what happens here is as you type or as you change this, it's going to get whatever is inside this place at any point in time, and that becomes the value of name. So we'll do the same for department and school. So, but instead of this being the set name, this one will be the set department, and this one will be the set school. Someone wants to join, let me quickly add into the person. Oh, not even one. Okay, any questions so far? Can we move on? Can we move on? Okay. So next is when you click on this button now, we want to get the name, the department, and the school. I'll just say console log name. I'll put name at the front so that you know, okay, this one is the name. Then console log department. So do PC. That's what this could say. So we are logging the three to the console. When you click on this, log the three to the console. Okay. So let's say name, type, department, let's say CSC, skill, let's say UI. And click on this. So type name, CSC department, UI skill. So we've been able to get the three. But let's look at the data structure that will be easy to manipulate. The best in this case, or the most commonly used thing in this case, is the array of objects. Array of objects. Array of object looks like this. Although from JavaScript, let's say I have this array. Inside this array, I can have an object name, type, department, UI, sorry, CSC, school, UI. So this is one object within this array. Then I can have another object like this. Name is Kenny, department, software, school, SQL. This is another object. So now, if I want to see the name of the first person, I will say a index 0 dot name. If I want to see the name of the second person, I will say a index 0 dot index 1 dot name. Sorry, I come again. We want to create a structure that looks like this. A structure that looks like this. So if you want to see the name of the first user, we say a index 0 dot name. If you want to see the name of the second person, we say a index 1 dot name. So array of objects is a commonly used data structure. That's the data structure we're going to use. So let's create a state. You can call it all students. Now we say set all students. Use, oh, thank God we even did something like this in our last class, but it was just array of string. But now, instead of this being array of string, this will be array of objects. So we come here, we now say, let me comment out this part. We create an object out of this. Let's new person or new student equals to, you can say student's name, let it be this name. Let it be this name. Student department, let it be this department. Then student school, let it be, let me break it to the next line. I think it's getting so long. Oops. Student school, let it be the value of school. In fact, for now, we are yet to use this all students. We can still comment it out. We'll bring it on board soon. So when you click on this button, it will call on this function on the quote here. Then it will create this object for you. Let's console log this object. Let's log the object to the console. So that we'll see how it looks like. Okay. Someone station. Okay, so type CSC. Right. So we have these objects. The name is type, students department CSC, student name is type, students who is UI. Well, what I want is, instead of using students, repeating students, I will just say name, department, and school. Instead of saying students, department, students, name, and student, school. I just change it to name, department, and school. Now in ES6, if the key and the value are the same, if the key and the value, if they are the same, you are allowed to just write one of them. I come again. Whenever the key and the value, whenever they are the same, you are allowed to just write one of them. This is the same as saying name is name. Is the same. So in this case, the key and the value are also the same. I can shorten it like this. Also, the key and the value are the same. I can shorten it like this. So we have this name, department, school. Then we can console log new students. We still have the same result like the other time. Is there any question so far? Name, department, school. Can we proceed? If you have any question, please raise your hand. Okay. In absence of question, let's proceed. So we have this object. We want to find a way to put this object into this array. We are going to use the same approach we used in our last class for string. We can say set all students. I thought in a situation like this, we first spread what is inside our students. Oh, let's call this instead of our students, let's put S. Our students. You spread it back, then you can now add the new object. You can now add new student. So the only difference between this and what we did in our last class is that we first created an object out of it. Instead of pushing the string directly inside the array, we first created an object, then we put the object inside the array. So next is we want to display the content of this array now on the screen. It's going to be something similar to what we did in our last class. But the difference is this. Let's quickly play with it here. Let's say I have an array that looks like this, an array of objects. So here is my first object. Let's create another object. Oops. So we have these two objects. Remember I told you that when you have map like this, the first argument in your map, call back like this, the first argument here, this value represents each of the value in this array that you are mapping. So that means in this case, each value in map, like this value represents each value in A in this array. So each value in A is an object. So var will first be this. Then var will then be this. I come again. Var represents each value in this array you are mapping. So var will first be this because this is the first value there, this whole object. Then this is the second value there. Let's say you are dealing with an array of string. And I say b.map. Var represents each value in this. That means var will first be Taye, then var will be Kenny. Now let's say it's an array of numbers. Var will first be 7. Okay, so then var will be 8, then var will be 9. Sorry, someone wants to join. So, having explained this now, we can go back to this part. So let's display it here. Remember I said we want to display it in a table. So let's create our table together. Table. For now, I'll just come here and give it a border. We'll still style it better, but for now, Let's do this. Our table, we have table head and table body. T head. Then we have the T body. Station. Okay, now T head. Plus another person is there. In our T head, we have the serial number, the name, the department, the school, and the delete button. So we have the T head. In our T head, we have the TH like this. So serial number, the name, department, the school, delete. So we have this. So let's now go to the body. Okay, this is it. So now I want to go to the body. Now, if there are two objects, let's say, okay, look at this case. If there's just one object in our array of objects, I think I've deleted it. But let's say there's only one student. That means you expect to see just one row here. If there are two students, you expect to see two rows here. If there are three students, you expect to see three rows here, on and on like that. So, and of course, you don't expect to see anything if there is no student. If there's one student, you see one row, meaning that the number of rows will depend on the number of students that you have in your array of objects, right? Are we following?
Yes.
Okay. So the number of rows will depend on the number of objects, the number of students that you have in your array of students. So for that reason, we come here and we say, what's the name of the array? All students. So we say all students dot map like this. So this represents each of the students. The second one is the index. So what are we returning? We are returning a TR. Remember I explained to us that when you have a map like this, let's say if this were to be, let's say D, and I have L. If I have 3 students inside this all students, there will be 3 LO. If I have 5 students in this place, there will be 5 LO. In the same sense also, if this is TR, if I have 5 students here, there will be 5 TR here. If I have 6 students here, there will be 6 TR here. And remember our key. For now, we'll still use the index as the key, as the value of our key. Now in our TR, we have TD. Now, again, remember that this student represents each of the values here, each of the values in all students. This student is an object. Are we together? Since this is an array of objects, students will be an object. Can we remember the example I gave the other time where I used numbers, I use array of string, I use array of numbers, and I use array of objects. Then I explained to us that for array of objects, these students will represent each object in this all students, right? So this student is an object. Since you expect that this will be an array of objects, this student is going to be an object. And that represents each object in all students. So I can now say TD. The first one is for the serial number, the second TD is for the name, the third is department, school, and delete. So for now, I will just, for the serial number, okay, I think we've even done something like that in the last class, so let me address that one and for all. So we can say I plus 1. I think, did we do something like this in the last? I'm trying to recollect. Okay, don't worry. If you can recollect, if you didn't do it, let's just do it like this. This is I. That is, put the index in the first, like in the first TD. Then students. Remember, student is an object. Dot name. That will be under this name. Then the third table, student dot. Please, can you mute your mic? Student dot school. Then lastly, for the delete button, we just put a delete button there. Just put a button for now. We'll do the logic of the button later. So if there are 5 students, there will be 5 TRs. There will be 5 TRs, and for each of them, you have the index as the first, the name, the department, the school, and the delete button. Any questions so far? Okay. In absence of question, let's run it. Our same name is Taye. Department is physiology. Let's say the school is so we have this. Then name is Kenny. Department is let's say Moscow. School is okay. We have this now. Look at the serial number 0, 1. This doesn't look cool. Serial numbers, at least I think most times it starts with 1. So this doesn't look cool. So what you can do, instead of the serial number starting from 0, we want it to start from 1. So let's solve that together. So this becomes I plus 1. That is, add 1 to the index. If it's 0, if you add 1, it becomes 1. If it's 1, if you add 1, it becomes 2. Like that. So I plus, I plus 1, this place for the serial number, I plus 1. So when you run that now, you have 1, 2. I can add another person. Any questions so far? Okay, in absence of question, we move on. Also, I don't like the fact that I need to come here and clear this up before typing a new person. So what I want is, once I click on this add person, after adding it, it should empty these 3 values for us. We've done something like that in our last class. So we come here and say set name, set it to empty string, set department, set it to empty string, set school, set it to empty string. Then set it as the value of this. Then next is, let's tie the table a bit and let's make it a bit beautiful. Let's say, maybe you want to know there's no after again. Table. Table, let's put it in the middle. Oh, I think there's an error I'm seeing here. A component is changing, I'm not control, but this is not caused by evaluation of the component. Okay. Should not happen. Okay. The error has gone now. Okay, so we want to shift the table to the center. In fact, we can change everything. This table. But we also background color. I want to test something. Oh, they are not linked together. They are not linked together. Import. CSS.
Okay, this is how. Asking me something.
Yes.
This is how.
You can ask your question.
What did you say?
I said you can ask your question.
I said this is how we are to link our CSS with our. Hello.
Hello, with the JS file, right?
Yes.
Yes. We are still going to deal with styling very well in one of our classes.
Okay.
We are still going to deal with styling, but I just want to make it a bit beautiful so that it's not just going to be dormant or like ugly, so to say. But when you have beautiful pages, it makes your work pretty. And we also see how to use libraries like Bootstrap. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah.
I said we also see how to use libraries like Bootstrap. Hello. Let me trust the recordings. So we are importing the CSS. You say import from okay, all from the CSS file. Oh, why is this turning back an error? Okay, import the CSS file. Like I said earlier, we're going to look at styling better later. Let me see if it's seeing the changes now. Version. Seems not to be saying it. Have I not saved this? Oh, good. I didn't save it. Okay. So we can say our table td td. Let all of them have a border of our 1 pixel solid block. Then border collapse. I set this one to collapse too. I set the width. This one, okay. And so occupy 80%. Then letters. Okay, let's give this table a little color. And say t-shirt background color. Let's say gray. Oh, no. Let's lighten it up a bit. That's great. this is scope. Now software. Okay. CSC. Okay. So let's make this work now. This delete button. Let's make it work. We can make it big. Then maybe shift it to the center to. So we say button. Also give it margin outer. I think I should shift it to the center. Oh. It's not. Okay. You can say margin left. Oh, it's too much. Oh, it's affecting this button too. Oh, okay, don't worry. When we get to styling, we give it a class and we specifically style that class. Let's leave that for now then. Yeah, this is not styling class. Next is we want to make the button work. When you click on this button, please, are we following me? I can't see anything from us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you click on this button, you want to delete that that particular person. We've done something like this in our last class. So let's get a function. I'll do this student. Let's call it student. And just like we did in our last class, you're going to pass something unique about that person, just like we used the index. Today we'll still use the index too. So on click of this, on click, delete student. So you pass the index. Because you are passing in an index, like a parameterized function, you're going to use an arrow function. And this is exactly what we did in the last class. You say, let's filtered student equals to all students dot filter. Then inside your filter, student index, you return index. We now return those ones where I is not the same as index. So we've done something like this, right? Right, from our last class. Have you now?
Yes.
So this is going to delete that particular student with this index. Since we are not using this std, we can silence it. I just post this. Since we are not using it. Okay. Then we now say set all students to filtered students. Oh, that's just filtered students. Okay. So we have this. Is not equal to this. Good. So let's refresh. Let's add Peter. Let's say anatomy. School. We add this. James. Physiology. School. John. Alchemist. School. So we have this. Let's see if this is working. Let's do that of James. Oh, this is working fine. Now, but there is a little thing we want to fix. If there is no student, we don't want to see this table at all. So there is no student. Instead, we can just display no student yet. So let's fix that together. We can say, I think we've done something like this also in our last class. So we can run our, we can use our ternary operator for the whole table. We don't need this further again. So we can say if all students dot length do this, if all student dot length do all of this, display this table, else display and display a div that says no students yet. So if all students dot length, you can also do it like this. I think I've explained this in our last class. If the length is greater than 0, display this table, else display no student yet. So for a start, you see this no student yet. Then you can now start adding students. So yes. Okay. Good. Question: if I delete the students, no students yet. Any question?
Yeah. Okay. My question is.
Yes, I can.
Okay, the border in that table that you need. So I'm confused. Is that inline style? You know, in our last class there was colon span. We put colon span equals to probably 1 or so. So is that inline styling React?
Okay.
Because I was like expected we should do all the border this thing in CSS file proper. So, but then I was like, okay, even if we are doing inline styling in HTML, so there's a way we have style property then equals to. So I just want to say that is the way we are doing inline styling in React. Like just colon span equals to so that equals to.
No. In fact, no, that's not what we did. In fact, what we did, or what we did in last class, and what we did today by putting border here, is not inline styling. It is just part of HTML attributes. I think the art of putting border in HTML table, I think it has even been deprecated. That is not. It's no more advisable that you do it. That if you want to style your table, you make use of CSS. Now, for the code span, row span that we used in our last class, that one is part of the tables attributes. You know, all these elements have their attributes. Code span, row span, they are part of the TD attributes. You know, this is all of this. You can do that with your vanilla in not even JavaScript now, in HTML. Out of React now, let's go back to HTML. You can do this span, code span. They are part of HTML. They are not peculiar to React. The border also, if you try it in HTML, it will also work. But it's not a good practice that you use border here. That was one of the reasons I had to come back to use this. But then we are still going to focus on CSS in one of our classes. We still do CSS proper, how to use inline styling if you want to do conditional styling to maybe you want to style based on some conditions. All of those things, we're going to do that later. But what I did is not even CSS. It's not part of CSS at all. All of these things, they are in HTML. They are part of HTML attributes. Do you understand? Just the same way value is an attribute of inputs. Same way also, the code span is an attribute of this TD, of TDs. Code span, row span, the attributes of this, just like value being attribute of input. Also, border is an attribute of table, but I think it has been removed because I know if I try this in HTML, it will be red. It will work, but it will be red. I think it has been duplicated in HTML. Okay. Any other question?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Now, assignments. The assignment will be continuation of this particular one. Continuation of this. Should I call it continuation? Yes. Now, instead of being named department school, what I want you to do for me is this. It's going to be the name of the product, the price of the product, the quantity of the product. I come again. It will be name of a product, price of a product, quantity of a product. Now, in each of these, instead of this being, look at it. Oh, now first I should not be able to add empty inputs. I should not be able to solve that on your. If you try to tell you you can't add empty inputs, so I should not be able to add. But this is what I'm going to. I will have serial number, name, department. No, serial number, name, price, quantity. Then there will be an edit button. And after the edit button, there will be a delete button. I come again. Serial number, name, price, quantity, edit, then after that, delete. Now my focus is on the edit part. When I click on edit, when I click on that edit part, oops. When I click on the edit part, the name, this name part, will be an input. And the edit will be, I know what I'll do. I'll pause the recordings, I'll quickly solve it. Then, so that I don't want a situation where you won't understand what I'm trying to explain. So I'll stop sharing, pause the recordings, quickly do that. So I think we are running out of time, 7 minutes, but we'll quickly do that. Okay. Recording has continued. So what I want you to do for me is this. Look at my inputs. Let's say I typed department, let's say CSC, school, let's say, I have this table. Let me add another person. School, let's see. Now, this is an edit button. If I want to edit this Kenny, this edit will work with this name. If I click on this, can you see an input here? So I can change the name of Kenny to, let's say I want to change it to James. Then immediately I click on that edit, you can see that this one has changed to save edit. So when I click on it, the name has changed to James. If I want to edit that here too, I'll do the same thing here. Click on it, I can change it to Dodo. Then I'll click on save edit. Do you understand? If I want to change this, the same thing here. I'll click on this, GD. Then I can save the edits. And of course, I can still add more names if I want to. Let's say, I know, research, to still work fine. And I can edit this one too if I want to. So my delete will still work just like before. Then my edit now works also. Do we understand what you have to do? This edit will work with this name. Oh, I think the best will be, immediately I click on this edit, the name should be inside this input. The name should just be inside the input. Then I can type the new name. Then I save it. Any question on that task? Do you understand the task?
Yeah, but it's just a bit complicated.
Please, I want us to try to do it, attempt it, and also, it's not that you start attempting it on next week Friday on the day of our class. No, it's good if you start early, start working on it. That will allow you to complete it before the class, not to start working on. You start a project on the day of submission. Most likely, you may not be able to complete it. Okay, thanks for coming. I'll send the recordings to you. Like I said, we still dedicate a whole class to styling. But before then, well, mainly in our training like this, I focus more on the logic parts. I focus more on logic. I believe, remember these trainings are in stages. If you've been observing those things I've been sending to the group, they are in stages. The first stage is more on styling, like you spend a whole 3 months on styling. on styling. Then the second stage, JavaScript, you learn JavaScript alone, just JavaScript. Then this third stage is when you learn React that we are currently learning. But of course, we have different background. We are only teaching us React JS parts. We have different parts. Some people, some of you have you've not styling to some extent, and I don't think there's any of the students that started for us. This is just mainly React. Sorry, then. But what I'm trying to say is there is a whole stage that we dedicate for styling alone. I mean, just styling. But this part, we are not focusing on styling. I will teach you just a class, but then the class is not focusing on styling. Okay, any question? Good night. Good night. Good night. Thank you for coming.
All right, thank you.